Evening, an emergency crisis cop talk tonight. It's as bad as it's been since Roy Hodgson days, in my opinion.
That's what it is.
And it's probably even worse than that, because at least we knew Hodgson was temporary. But Klopp's he's our messiah, our modern day messiah, and it looks like it's all gone wrong. But anyway, let's begin. Yaz, tell us, man, what's going on, son?
I don't know, mate. I'm just tired of watching this rubbish, man. Nothing is looking real. I don't understand what's going on. The lack of, we all listen and read and speak, and everyone's talking about investments, and everyone's talking about not buying a midfielder and not doing this and not doing that. And it's bullshit. It don't matter. I mean, we've got, 12, 13, 14 international players there that aren't trying an inch. They're not players, 6, 7, 8.
Would you say you don't think the players are trying?
Yeah, of course. There's a big problem. I was at Brighton last week, and when you watch something on the telly, it looks very different because the telly pans into the immediate area around players, etc. When you're watching players that are 40, 50 yards away from play, that are just standing there not bothering, or when you're watching Brighton attack on a counter-attack and Salah kind of just jogging back thinking, fuck it, someone else will do it. The attitude stinks. I mean, that's what I took from last week's game. The attitude of the players stinks. And it's a problem. It's a big problem, because they're senior players. Where's the leadership? I mean, I've been thinking about today's game since I watched the bloody thing. We haven't fucking won a game of football, a league game, in 4. We haven't won a league game. Our last 4 league games, 3 defeats and a draw. Now, in my opinion, your captain should be rolling up his sleeves and starting the fucking game. Not being on the bench and giving it to Robertson like you're playing a friendly against pre-season friendly. You've got to roll your sleeves up. The captain should be there being counted for his team, and he should be the one that's getting everyone together and the one that's firing them all up. And, he's on the bench. That's how bad it is. It's not his particular fault, but, it's not his fault that he's not playing, but it's our fault as a club and why we've ended up where we've ended up. It's ridiculous. And, it's just pathetically poor. We can go on about needing a midfielder for the last hour. Hello. We can go on about needing...
Hello, Hugo. I thought I heard Hugo.
We can go on about needing a midfielder for the last how long? And we haven't bought players, and FSG haven't given them any money, and blah, blah, blah. It's just... They bought Núñez that turned out to be a project, okay? Because he hasn't hit the ground running. When you went and spent another £40 million in getting Gakpo, we couldn't take that gamble now. We couldn't take that gamble. You've gambled on a player that's cost you 60 million, and it hasn't gone right, whether you like it or not. I went there last week, and it was warming up to come on, and the fans are calling his name, Núñez. No, he's the second coming of Christ. He couldn't fucking hit a cow's backside with a banjo.
But you know why the fans like him? And look, hold on. I'll let you come back. Hold on. The reason why the fans like Núñez is because he gets stuck in. He's always involved.
He's as raw as bleating a pork chop, mate. He hasn't got a clue what he's doing. I watched him last week standing on the byline. Robertson's got the ball, and he didn't know what to do. He stood still on the byline when Robertson was looking at him as if to say, mate, you should be in there. You should be making that run. He was standing by the byline. He never had a clue what to do. Today at 2-0 down, we had about 10 minutes of possession. He's one-on-one with that Sarr, the goalkeeper. He has to score. He scores that goal. It's 2-1, and we might change the way the game is going to be played. No, he hits the keeper straight away. Hits the kick straight at the keeper. I mean, it's not good enough. And like I said, that Gapco, we've bought Nunes. He hasn't hit the ground running. You don't then go and buy another project to go with Nunes, to go with Elliott, to go with Carvalho. Go and buy fucking Trossard from Brighton, like Arsenal did, who's a decent player that can come in and hit the ground running. Like the back days when we used to sign people like, you know, for the older fans, we used to go and sign players like David Speedy when we needed, you know, a little bit of backup. We go and sign David Speedy, a decent player. You're just a journeyman. We can't buy one of these 21, 22. They look like bloody, you know, fish out of water, all of them. It's terrible. Awful. Absolutely awful. And I'm fed up with, you know what? Today we spoke a little bit on WhatsApp. I'm bored of listening to Klopp's shit. I'm bored of his formations. I'm bored of his... he's got no tactics. He played a system how many years ago that worked with the right players. He's now trying to play the same system with players that can't play that system. How can we watch the same shit every week and not think... I mean, you know, we're not even playing... You know, we're going from a season of 67 games last year, whatever it was, to the last how many weeks? It's a game a week. It's a game a week. What are they doing during the week? I mean, you get bumped last week at Brighton, you're out of the cup. You've got to wait a whole week for your next game. And you turn up and watch that shit. Played Brighton last week, we got beat. You played Wolves midweek, you drew with Chelsea. It's rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. I don't see any player taking responsibility. Senior players, you know, Trent, Robbo, keeper, Matip, Gomez, okay, he's been there a very long time. He might not have as much mileage as the rest on him, but he's been there a hell of a long time. Thiago, just fuck off, mate. Go and play beach football somewhere. You know what I mean? He offers you nothing. He looks the part. He has the swagger. You see him chatting to all the other players, but what does he do? What the fuck does Thiago do? Does he tackle? No. Does he score? No. Does he assist? No. Okay, in a game of 90 minutes, he pings a ball 50 yards once upon a time and gives it away back 10. What does he give you? Keita. I mean, go on, mate. It's dreadfully, dreadfully bad. I mean, it doesn't matter if we turn up against Everton like this next week. It doesn't matter. It's done now. Top four is done. Everything's done. It's finished. The season is finished. Our next two games, Everton and Real Madrid. For the first game against Everton, Sean Dyche is going to have players running through brick walls for him. He's proved that today. Okay? That's who we're going to be playing next Monday night. And we turn up like just wimps that we have been playing for the last... I get battered. And you want me to go to fucking Real Madrid with you?
Yeah. Come on. Let's go, man.
Not happening. No chance. I do not want to be... It's not about losing games of football, Jason. I've told you that before. Don't care. If you lose a game of football, it's fine. If you perform and you lose a game of football, it's fine. If you go out there, and I've seen it for games on end now, just jogging, coasting, just taking the piss out of the fans, basically. You know, taking the piss. And he's taking the piss. He had an argument today with James Pearce from The Athletic, for whatever reason, in his press conference after the game. Klopp.
Okay.
He's asked him a question about how we started in the first 15 minutes, etc. And he said to him, apparently he wrote something in The Athletic during the week that Klopp didn't like. And he said, well, because you've asked me the question, he said to him, I'm not going to answer it. I don't want to answer questions from you. If someone else wants to ask the same question, then I'll answer it. That's how pedantic he's been. We've just been bumped again. Wolves have scored, before today, six goals at home all season. 6.
So prolific then, aren't they?
And they've gone and put 3 past us, 50% on what they've done all season against us. It's shit, mate. And people need to wake up. As I said, we've had bigger, much bigger odds at Liverpool than Jurgen Klopp, believe me. We had fucking Bill Shankly, Bob Paisley, Joe Fagan, Kenny Dalglish. Okay, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. I'm not listening to no one giving me anything about Klopp anymore. It's bullshit. They could sit there all week, this week again, on Twitter and all these Anfield groups and blah, 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 Bellingham this, Bellingham that, Bellingham this. I couldn't give a flying fuck, mate. He's also not God. Great player, but we haven't bought no one now. Why are we written off this season? Why has this season ended up the way it's ended up? Okay, we might have a major overhaul in the summer. So what? You've just fucking mugged us off for the whole season, and you want me to get excited about? It doesn't work like that for me. You know, you're playing for Liverpool Football Club, mate, and to play with that lack of, you know, you're watching Brentford's and and Fulham's, and all players. They don't have to be that Brightons. They don't have to be world class players. What they need is world class attitudes. And we don't have them at Liverpool this season for whatever reason. Has he lost the change room? I don't know. But as I said to you earlier on today, Mourinho won the league with Chelsea, and the following season, okay, it had something to do, I think, with that fitness woman and John whatever, and he had a go at her for going onto the pitch. The players stopped playing for him. They were getting beat every single week. You know, the team that won the league would have got relegated that year had they not got rid of him. The players down tools. Now, we don't know what's going on at Liverpool. We don't know what goes on at Liverpool. But those players are not trying. I'm sick of it. I mean, how does a team go from, you know, immortality last season, nearly, to 10th, 11th every week? It's just shit.
Yeah, I look, you know, I get it, man. I'm as disappointed as you are, but there's reasons behind all of this, and some of it is what you're saying, but I think there's for me, I think there's a physical and mental burnout from last year. I think getting so close and losing the Champions League the way we did, and the league the way we did, that's had an impact on them this season. I think, obviously...
Jason, let me stop you there.
No,
wait.
No.
Burnout. Fucking Trent went. Robertson had a month off at the World Cup. Gomez had a month off at the World Cup. Matip had a month off at the World Cup. Okay? Salah had a month off at the World Cup. Keita had a month off. The Ox had a month off. Milner had a month off. Fabinho didn't play. Trent didn't play. Gakpo wasn't at Liverpool last season, so he didn't get burnt out. Núñez wasn't at Liverpool last season, so he didn't get burnt out. I don't listen to that shit, mate. I'm sorry, I don't dress it up. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not dressing it up.
You're talking about mental fatigue and burning bullshit.
I'm not dressing it up. What I'm saying is this, yeah? I think that there's a bit of residue from last season. There's a little bit of residue in some of these players. Yes, what you're saying is correct. The half of those players that you mentioned, they all had breaks in the World Cup. Some of them weren't there. And look, I'm not saying Klopp's blameless in all of this. You know, he's made some mistakes. And the club has made some mistakes. They went for Tchouaméni in the summer. They didn't get him, and then they didn't sign anyone else. That's a mistake. And to sign that Arthur Melo on the last day, that was a panic buy. And it hasn't worked out because the guy's been injured. I think he's gone back to Juventus now anyway. So that was a mistake. Why we haven't signed someone like Tielemans, who's free in the summer, you could have got him for next to nothing, who's a Premier League midfielder. Why we haven't gone and signed a player from somewhere? It's not.
That's not what you're arguing. You're arguing.
No. But what I'm saying is that these are the reasons. These are the reasons behind where we are at. The mental burnout, the physical burnout from last season. I know they've had. Hold on. I know they've had a rest.
Rubbish.
Hold on. This season started like 3 weeks or so after the end of the last season. the season started
It weren't
early
3
to
weeks.
facilitate.
5 weeks. It was 5 weeks.
Yeah, to facilitate the World Cup. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll ask you this question: if you're telling me that these players have got mental fatigue and blah blah, why is Salah undroppable? Why can't he play Harvey Elliott in the position he wants to play, where Salah normally plays? You're telling me that
He could do better.
You're telling me that these players have got this problem, and Salah's he's not dropped him once. He has been probably the worst player on the pitch on at least 3 of our last 6 games. Plays 90 minutes every single game, and you're telling me that these players have got mental fatigue. That's where Elliott made his name, playing last season for Blackburn. He was red hot in that position. But no, Salah.
Listen, I'm not saying that Salah shouldn't be dropped. And if you let me finish, I would tell you the other reasons why we're where we are. So there's the mental fatigue, which I really do think is a factor. Secondly, no refreshing of the midfield in the last 2 seasons, not just this season. The last 2 seasons haven't really refreshed it. Like you said, we bought young players who are, okay, they can have a little bit of an impact now, but they're really for the future. Harvey Elliott, Carvalho, Núñez. Núñez, I think we expected a bit more from him, but he still hasn't done that badly that people are saying. Yes, he's raw. Yes, he needs to improve his finishing. But, for me, I think he's struggling because the team is struggling. He's actually struggling because of the team.
Go 8 yards out today and he hit the keeper. Stop talking shit.
Listen, and then the other thing, there seems to be like Klopp has this blind loyalty to certain players, like you're saying, Salah. He will not drop Salah for whatever reason. I don't know. That's a problem. And you see where we were speaking about this the other day, where Ferguson was so great. The minute you were not at the level that he wanted you were out of that team. And depending on how badly off the level you were gone. He would get rid of you.
So that's bad management on Klopp's behalf, okay?
Yeah.
So go.
I'm agreeing.
Pack your bags and go, mate. You are not immortal. Just go. I mean, football's
no
crap.
One's saying he's immortal. I'm not saying he's immortal.
The football, believe it or not, last season when we won 2 ropey cups in this country and finished second in the league and lost in the it wasn't good football last season. It wasn't pleasant to watch. It was lucky at times. It was, it wasn't great football. We haven't played great football we didn't play great football last season. And the season before, we played well. But last season, how we got there, they're like robots, mate. The football's robotic. They're like robots in positions. And the robots that used to do the jobs, the Wijnaldums, the Manes, the Hendersons.
Who I might add, used to berate Mane.
No, but he worked.
Wijnaldum.
Okay, but they worked in his system. But do you understand why we do not play? If you were to ask me now, what is Liverpool's identity? We don't have one. There's no man, a Coutinho, or one of these players that's going to pick the ball up, thread a pass, give and go, blah, blah, and play football. No. Give it to Trent, long ball over the top, give it to Robertson, whip it in from the left, little deflection, it's rubbish. The brand of football, there's no pace in our team anymore. Why have we got no pace when we've got Núñez there and we've got Salah there and there's no pace in that team? Why are we not playing any football? There's no football on the floor, no gives and goes, no intricate football. It's shit. And I'm fed up with him. I'd back my team to the hilt and I'll go and watch my team if I feel they're trying. I watched them last week and they were dreadful. One of the worst things I've ever seen in a Liverpool performance for as long as I can remember. And today was just as bad. Now, why he's not getting a reaction? Anyway, that's me. Talk to the boys.
Yeah, no, he's not. Anyway, Jayden?
All right, guys.
I feel that you're going to concur with Yaz there, Professor Yaz.
I think you're both right, to be honest. I think like when stuff like this happens and you go from like really a good whatever passage to a bad passage, what happens is the fan base gets very divided. I saw a tweet today that someone was at the in a watched the game today at the game, and they were saying it's obviously one of the worst state they've seen the fans in. Fans arguing 10 minutes in with each other, and kind of that's not really a characteristic of our fans at the moment. Sorry, before, but it can get like that. So I think what happens is fan bases get divided, and you're either, I think people don't, you're either on this side of the fence or the other. I'm not sitting on the fence, but I think that you're both right, where I think we have to go out and say that Klopp's not faultless. Like
Don't get splinters now.
No,
don't get splinters,
look,
bro.
he is like I said, like with you, Jason, with the reasons. I'm a very like reasons guy. I know it sometimes reasons sound like excuses, but they're not excuses. They're just, this is why it's happened. It's not like, oh, it's okay that it's happened, but this is why it's happened. So what I think's happened is I think it's to start off, if you go back, the first probably domino is with the midfield, probably. Losing Gini, probably one of the most underrated guys that probably ever going to wear a Liverpool shirt, I think. 55 games per season he played. I don't think we've ever had a player since he left to kind of play that amount of minutes, that amount of games. And I think while he was here, he didn't get the love that he should have, which is really unfortunate. And he felt it. He said it after he left, that he felt he didn't get the love, which is really sad to me. It's one of my favourite players.
Don't you think as well, sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off. I think as well, Ronaldo was more than just a good player for the team. I think he was a popular guy.
Yeah, of course.
In the dressing room.
If you look at his
and I think that they miss him as a person.
If you look at his Instagram and how cool he is, and his daughters, he's got two like lovely daughters, and his wife, and you can see he's a proper family man, and he's a glowing. Every video that you catch him in, where someone's recording this person and Genie's in the background, he's smiling, he's glowing, he's laughing. Like obviously that's gonna make an impact. And I think the first domino was, forget about like his personality, whatever, his what he brought, the amount of games he played, and the skill set he had.
Always available.
We let him go, and it wasn't the worst thing in the world. There's not going to say, oh, losing Genie is the most amazing player in the world. He wasn't, but his skill set was very useful for us. We didn't replace him. I think what's happened is we've watched Klopp turn water into wine, and the wine's ran out, and now we're saying to him, okay, he can go. But we have to remember that he was a miracle worker. Let's not pull any punches here. He competed and won titles off Pep's Man City, which is no mean feat. Like this, we look at this season, we look at maybe Arsenal, maybe win the league, whatever. This Man City is nowhere near what.
Oh, don't say that. I don't like. I'm just
saying.
I don't like the way
we've got to put it out there. Arsenal may win the league and City may win the league also, but it's a title race. Title race.
But Jaden, you speak about Klopp, right? Doing this and that. We bought the most expensive goalkeeper in the world, a world record for a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
We bought Van Dijk for 75 million. We bought Salah, Mane.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about, Fabinho. I hear he's won it. So you can't take the credit away. You can't take the credit away from him.
Yeah, but my response to that is, do you know any other top 6 team that haven't bought like that? No, there's not. And,
no, there is.
There's not one top 6 team that hasn't bought or bought more the way we have. And the difference is
Spurs and Arsenal up until this year haven't spent that kind of money.
I mean, they have spent. It's
not
been
like
there.
That. He listen.
But the thing is, that's what I'm saying. He
had at the time 7 or 8 players at the peak of their careers playing the best football, and he went and bought 150 million pounds worth of goalkeeper and centre back.
But he made them play. If you look at that team,
you can't. I just said you can't take that away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying, he's not a miracle worker. Miracle workers turning someone like Bajcetic into a world-class player, or miracle worker is buying Coutinho for 7.5 million and selling him for 140. They're miracle workers. You don't go and buy the most expensive goalkeeper in the world and call yourself a miracle worker.
That's two. Let me finish what I'm saying. That's 2 players. To answer your point, 2 players. I understand what you're saying, and a lot of I hear that rhetoric a lot. But let's just put it out there that no other team has not spent like that. That has challenged for titles. they've all spent like that or more. And the difference is, let's say, compared to City, who is our direct competitors for the last 5-6 years, they spent, what, 400 million on their defense. The difference is we had one chance at Van Dijk. We had to make sure that the profile was right. We had to make sure the skill set was right. We had to make sure the coaching was right. And if we have no room for error, this Liverpool, these owners, this Klopp, whatever, we have never had any room for error. And it's now it's showing that when we've started to make maybe a few questionable buys, Gakpo, for example, obviously Jota's injured, etc. Now it's directly impacting us. We've never had the resources to go and cover our mistakes, let's say. So when I say turning water into wine, it's he took players. Let's forget Alisson and Van Dijk for a second. He took players that, if you saw them on paper, let's say, I hate the term, but on paper, would you then be like, this team is going to take City to 100 points, win the league, and win the Champions League? Yeah. For me, personally, I would never have thought, and no one did. No one thought that we would be winning and as good as we are. So he had a very, very tight budget. You say he spent a lot, but that was money that the club generated.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant. He spent the money.
It's not relevant at all. It's not relevant at all. Because if that didn't go right, what would happen?
Someone gives you £140 million in your birthday card and you go and spend it, you spent it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But then if I go and become a billionaire, yeah, if I got one, say, like, if I got 10 million, if I got 10 million, say, with your analogy, if someone gave me 10 million and then I went and I made 1 billion from it, and then if someone else, they got 10 million, they flunked it. They got 10 million again, flunked it. 10 million again, flunked it. 10 million again until they got 150. Then they made 1 billion. Am I not
the money side of it's irrelevant anyway.
It's not relevant. Of course it's not.
Go for 5 million. They bought Mitoma for 2.5 million. There's players out there. You don't have to spend 60 million, 50 million, 70 million pound on players. He went and bought Robertson for 8 million.
No, but I wasn't saying about the money. You said that Van Dijk and Alisson, because we bought them at the prices that we did, we can't then call him. That's like a knock against the job that he's done with the players. With the team.
It all landed at the right time for him. He's been a lucky.
There's no such thing as coincidence. You make your own luck. And the thing is, let's get on to what the next point I'm going to say. Klopp didn't go and buy these players. That's the next point. Those are not Klopp's purchases. Klopp didn't go and say, I've seen this Virgil fella and I want him. I've seen this Alisson fella and I want him. That's the next point. We have lost key staff members in key positions within the club. There's a lot that's been going on in the club that some we're partial to, some we're not. But Michael Edwards, losing having him go on a sabbatical, then getting Julian Ward to follow up, and then Julian Ward putting in his notice 6 months down the line. And then we've got what's his name? I can't remember, but the head of research, the head of analysis, I always get that wrong, leaving, with all his staff leaving as well. Like, I don't know if you saw the Reddy article that was released, yesterday or 2 days ago, Melissa Reddy. And she said that there's been a brain drain where top people at the club who are making the smart decisions, who have been making the smart decisions, are leaving, are stopping. You've got obviously figures at the club that are very, what's the word? Influential and divisive. So obviously Kornmeier, I don't know if you know, Kornmeier is a fitness coach. Yeah. And Pep Linders as well. So
did you see Pep today? I didn't see Pep today.
No. I've got a friend who he's a head of analysis for 777 Group. They own a bunch of clubs, and he spoke to, I can't remember the guy's name that left Liverpool, head of analysis, and he said that they obviously don't like Kornmeier and they don't like Linders. And what's happened is the owners, I think, they haven't moved fast enough. They've seen us slump, and what they've done is given more power to the coaching staff. So you see the buys, Gakpo as an example, that's not a data buy. It's not the way we do things. So to go back to your point about there is players out there is, and obviously how we've now come and approached the things has kind of, we're doing it differently than how we did it, and the foundation that we built upon is going up. Ian Graham. That's Ian Graham. He left recently. The foundation that we built upon is kind of changing now. So the domino effect was not to say, and why I said the word war into wine is because I don't think we was playing Moneyball, and the money does, even though you say it doesn't make it relevant, it definitely does, because us and Man United are the only clubs that run without cash injections. So of course it makes a big difference. So we had to get everything right. So when I say that water into wine analogy is he had a very thin, small margin for error, and he didn't make any errors. And
But you just said he didn't buy the players, so it doesn't matter.
When I say he, I mean
Michael Edwards and the other.
I mean all of them. I mean all of them together, because I don't. Obviously, we always put the manager as the figurehead, isn't he? His head's on the chopping block right now. He's getting asked the questions. When he was winning, he lauded all the plaudits. But when I say him, I just mean the whole. Like,
yeah, but what do you? How about the fact that for the last 4 games, more than 4 games, 5, 6 games, he's not getting a reaction from his players.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Go out week in, week out and get beat, and then go out the next week and be even worse.
Look, I'm not going to say.
When we saw them lose 3-0 to Brighton a fortnight ago, you thought that was the rock bottom. Cannot get any worse.
Yeah, confidence is gone.
I'm not going to say.
Well, yeah, as we know, there's no such thing as rock bottom, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Rock bottom is 6 foot under, my friend.
Yeah. But
that's rock bottom.
Yeah, like I'm not going to say that Klopp's flawless. He has also, like, obviously, I'm trying to go through a timeline. If we're jumping now and we're at the end and we're here and things are going wrong, now it's like the margin for error is 0 now. He's up against the wall. There's people. The team have gone apart. Whatever, they've left. They've broken down. Now he is at the head for everything, and his head's going to be on a chopping block. And he has made mistakes. Of course, he is very stubborn in the way he plays. We saw it at Dortmund, that whole seven season syndrome that they said. He likes a certain type of coaching. It's high pressure, high intensity, and don't know whether it's the team or whether it's him that didn't see that we have an aging core and an aging unit and an aging midfield that have fallen off drastically in terms of the numbers they can do, the injuries that they're having. And he went with that style still. Now, the bit before the World Cup, he had a little change. We went 4-4-2 for a little bit. I don't know if you remember. And we had couple wins maybe? And we looked like, oh, okay, he might have took us up from the slump. And obviously after the World Cup, we reverted back to, I don't know what happened in Dubai, but we reverted right back to the system that we did before the change. And that's one thing that I think he's at the key fault is his stubbornness of not changing the system, coupled with his loyalty for players that are past it. Say Jordan Henderson, let's say, I big up Jordan Henderson because he went from absolutely rubbish to really good for us, but he's gone back to absolutely rubbish again. Unfortunately, if his numbers say all, he's losing out on duels. He can't make a tackle. He's never in the right place at the right time. He can never make the grounds. He can't make the passes. And I get what you're saying about Thiago, and I understand your.
This is just a message for Jordan Henderson. If you ever watch, please don't watch this video because you might actually top yourself if you hear that.
I hear what you're saying about Thiago as well, but you have to understand that now these players are doing stuff that they weren't meant to do. Now Thiago is now doing things. Thiago was never meant to play this many games. He was never meant to. Be...
So we should never have bought him. Even listen,
but that's I agree.
He was never a Liverpool player before we bought him. It was never going to fit into this. I agree with what you're saying, but these are where things began to start going wrong.
Of course.
You had someone like Wijnaldum who would run forever, just a workaholic, okay? And we start signing the wrong players. Henderson, workaholic. Milner, workaholic. Blah, blah. You go and buy Thiago, who is a
quarterback
player.
Yeah, but don't you see that Klopp has attempted to, because he knew in a way that this injury room thing that people used to get onto us about, and your midfield is just the injury room, it just runs. I think that's a gross overstatement. I don't agree with that, but I get the sentiment.
Yeah, but Thiago's never played like that.
No, that's what I'm saying though. He's tried to evolve our midfield time and time again, but has got it wrong or been unfortunate. So the Keita buy, Keita's not an injury room guy. Keita is what he was top 5 in most progressive dribbles in Europe when we bought him, and top 10 in most progressive passes in Europe when we bought him. He was a different kind of breed of centre mid, one of the best in the world when we got him. Obviously, that didn't work out for any reason. He's made of whatsits. He can't play for longer than 10 games.
He's not robust enough for the Premier League.
He can't play for the 10 games when he gets injured. His muscles, he needs muscle transplants, and that's not available in 2023. So he's never going to have a career at Liverpool, unfortunately, no matter how talented the guy is.
Now, 30-23. He's the guy we need.
Maybe if you get his brain and put him in a cyborg. But anyways, yeah. He obviously didn't work out, which is fine. He's bought Thiago, which I think even though contrary to what you think, I think it's the right buy. He's trying to evolve our midfield so we can change and not be at workhorse, because he understands that there will come a time where we cannot do the high pressing where the midfield is just covering spaces again and again.
I don't believe that.
We tried to sign Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni. So why is he going for? Why is he going for?
Trying to evolve anything, mate.
Ox is not a workhorse midfielder again. Ox is another one. Progressive ball carries. It didn't go when it did go right. Ox was in that centre mid role when Ox was playing. He was amazing. Up to the was it semi-final against City where he got the ACL tear?
Roma.
He got the ACL tear in the game. He was amazing that season. I was like, when he bought Ox, I was like, what the fuck are we doing buying Ox? He came in at centre mid role and he was brilliant for us. That hasn't gone right for other reasons. We tried to sign Tchouaméni. You can't tell me Tchouaméni is a workhorse. So if we want workhorses still, and you don't think Klopp was trying to evolve, why are we continuously trying to buy midfielders that aren't workhorses? He was trying to evolve the team, and it didn't work for.
So what do you think about the wanting to buy that Núñez guy from Wolves? Why didn't we get him in the summer? Because they're talking about buying him next summer.
Look,
I don't understand.
That's what goes back to my other point about the brain drain. The people that made the key decisions, the right decisions, they're not about anymore. They're facing conflicts. The unit, it was a very cohesive unit. Mike Gordon, Jurgen Klopp, and Michael Edwards. They were a very cohesive unit that used to. I mean, they said in the article they used to have breakfast or lunch together. They used to speak about signings, and then they used to draw up profiles, and then Michael Edwards would go off and do his work. That's gone now. So you've got.
I think an element of arrogance has crept into the hierarchy at Liverpool. Without a
maybe the coaching staff.
For the last 4 or 5 seasons, we have been there or thereabouts, first or second, scoring lots of. I'm not even scoring goals now. We're not even scoring goals.
From what I've been told, is
forget we're conceding 2 seasons ago when we were losing 4-3 away to Bournemouth, and 3 last year to Brentford, and we're not even scoring goals now.
Yeah,
we're getting humbly walloped every week. 3-0.
From what I've been told, 3-0. Is the coaching staff has been given more power, and it's made the ability, basically the power to do the jobs of the scouting staff, and the data team has been taken away from them. They don't feel like they've got enough power to do their job. That's coming straight from them, which is why they have left. So there's obviously shake-ups in the hierarchy.
That's a worry, isn't it?
It's a massive worry. It's a massive worry.
No, for me, what the red flag in everything you said, right, was, okay, Michael Edwards wanted a break. Fair enough. Yeah. He was there for a few years, did a great job, owes Liverpool nothing, gave everything for Liverpool. The guy that took over from him,
Julian Ward,
6 months later, he's leaving as well.
That's obviously a big sign.
That is a red flag.
Yeah.
Why are you leaving 6 months, man?
Yeah.
When you were groomed for that job.
I think the owners have, like I said, the owners have started to give more power to the coaching staff, because I think that they have seen the slump. They've obviously seen certain buys not happening. Keita, for example, Tchouaméni missing out on, etc., etc. They've seen that, and they have kind of, I guess, been like, you're not gonna get more chances. There's not money made like growing on trees. They're obviously looking to sell the club. It wasn't just an overnight decision to sell the club, was it? And now what's happening is, it's talking about the Núñez, why they didn't buy Núñez. What I believe, I don't know, it's hearsay, but I believe that they are trying to keep everything tight to grab a wholesale of the club. They keep releasing this, we don't want a wholesale, we want a part sale. I think that's bullshit. I think they want a wholesale of the club, and they want not any more money spent, because they'll be wasting money. That's what I think at the end of the day. But if you to answer the question, why we're so shit right now,
it's like question time, isn't it?
It's
like one of the politicians that's gone round the houses. Come on, give us the answer.
Why it's so shit is like I said, the domino started from not replacing Genie, which sounds so stupid, but not replacing that midfield, buying players like, you're right. Yes, you're right. Thiago is a 25 game a season guy, and you do not replace a 55 game a season guy with a 25 game a season guy. It doesn't add up. Where's the other 30 games that we're going to need a centre mid player? We got Henderson, who is always injured, and if he's amazing or he's crap. We got Ox always injured. We got Keita always injured. So I don't think buying Thiago Alcantara was a bad decision. But buying him, knowing that he can't ever stay fit, and then not buying anyone else was a bad decision. So I think not adequately adding while you're on top. Fergie, like you said about Fergie said the reason why they stayed on top is while they were on top, they added while they were on top. It's the only way you can stay.
No, never just added. He recycled. He weren't afraid.
But I mean, in football, to add, you have to.
We're giving Milner's contracts every year. Just giving Henderson another contract. Gomez has been at Liverpool for a long time.
Yeah. Okay? I mean,
he's not going to cut it at Liverpool. Matip 3 seasons ago wasn't getting a sniff at Liverpool. Yeah, and all of a sudden, that is your go-to centre back.
Yeah.
Curtis Jones has been at Liverpool for 4 or 5 years now. He broke through in that. Van Dijk's first season, scored a lovely goal against Everton in the FA Cup. I thought, hello, this not kicked on at all. Nothing. Yeah. Why is that boy being overtaken by a kid that was 14? When Curtis Jones made his debut for Liverpool, Badger was just 14.
Yeah, when I said
playing before him.
When I said add, I meant obviously add and subtract, because in a football squad you only got 25.
But you need to. You have to be ruthless, mate.
Of course, yes.
I mean, and Jason said that during the week. This loyalty bonus. I don't know if there's a loyalty card at Liverpool.
It's loyalty, but at the same time,
I think it's like a club card.
Yeah,
it's a club card.
Nectar points.
At the same time, there is actually no one else. Like, I get the loyalty, and I think that Klopp's being loyal. I think he should just say, "Fuck the seniors, shake it up." I do believe so, but at the end of the day, I do also see there's fucking nobody else. Like, would literally be having to hand starts to Bashatik, which we are, who's a kid out of nowhere, which is, you know what I mean? Who could have foreseen Fabinho falling off the edge of a cliff at the end of the season like that? He plays like he's in mud. He was the best DM in the world last season and the season before. He was absolutely exceptional. We've got obviously Thiago is always in the injury room. KR, we've got Henderson who's rubbish, and we've got now Fabinho who's rubbish. And I think the problems that we had adding to the injuries, because it's not the excuse. We do have injuries. We have a lot of attacking injuries. Luis Diaz, like you said, Diaz, I agree with you. We weren't playing absolutely amazing football, but when Diaz came, he gave us that boost, that kind of like difference and boost. We weren't.
But I hear what you're saying, but I mean, it's
a multifaceted.
There's a reason for everything, and if you stand far enough back so you can see enough of what you need to see, you will realise that we make. I mean, again, we talk about the people that have been buying players. Stephen Corker, when we needed a player, they went and signed Stephen Corker. The one time he played, I think it was against Fulham, and they played him up front. Last season or the season before, we were dreadfully short of centre backs. We went and bought that Ben Davies from Preston. Never played a game. This season, we were dying on August's deadline day for a centre midfield or a midfielder. And we bought Arthur Meadow. Never fucking heard of him. I mean, It's not once, it's not twice. It's a piss take. It's a royal piss take to the fans.
That's when I say, when you were saying, like, when I said the water into wine, the first thing. So, for example, the margin of error has been the same since the start. You've seen what happens when we make those mistakes. We don't have.
Mate, come on, you don't have Ben David. I get.
Do you know what I'm trying to say though? But we don't have.
I get what you're saying, and I agree.
At City, they would just be like, "Oh shit, man, Jack Grealish."
I get it.
Another one.
I get it. But I know if I lined up 100 people and said to them, "Look, we haven't got a lot of money. We need a centre back. You're going to come and play for Liverpool, FC, okay, and we're open to paying, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 grand. I swear to God, out of those 100 people, Jaden, not one of them would have said to me, mate, go and have a look at Davis at Preston. He's shit up, mate. It weren't going to happen. Not one person. We're talking about Liverpool here. We're not talking about Barnet.
Yeah, I understand, but that's also a bit of hindsight as well. It is, because if you turn, like, it's like, mate, Julian.
It's not hindsight. Come on.
Did anyone think that Julian Alvarez, when he signed for City, was going to be as good as he is? We don't, and he was bought for peanuts. You know what I mean?
He's an Argentinian international. What are you talking about?
No, but you know what I'm saying though. What I'm saying is that
I don't know what you're saying. He's an Argentinian international.
Casado as well, the same way.
5 million.
But this is what I'm saying. Hindsight is a beautiful thing, because we can look at things and say, oh well, we should have known.
They bought Casado when they just fancied buying a player. You know what? fancy another midfielder. We'll just go and get one.
We were
desperate. We were desperate for a centre back.
Yeah,
desperate.
I'm not disagreeing. Yeah, that you aren't right. That is a mistake. I'm saying, but what I'm trying to say is
okay. So right, leave it there. It is a mistake. We made 3 of them. Hawker, Davis, Arthur. 3 mistakes.
Kabak was another good one.
So Kabak contributed to getting us top 4.
Oh, no,
whether
Kabak
you
was
like it or
absolutely
not.
shocking.
No, you know,
but it was smart because it was alone.
Listen, you know who contributed, and I think Liverpool have treated him so badly. It's Nat Phillips.
Yeah, he'll put his head on in a cement mixer.
His head is a cement mixer.
Yeah. Look, we've also in those like bad signings, we've got Konate, who's obviously he can't stay fit, unfortunately, but he is a hell of a player. Oh, come on. Come on. He's a hell of a player. He is.
Hold on, did you just swallow a lemon? What happened to you?
His defensive work is very good. His distribution, I mean, is awful. Awful.
Yeah, but he's not really that. He drives with the ball more. You know what I mean? He does break lines with his dribbling.
I don't know.
All right, listen. We know there's a lot of problems at Liverpool.
There's a lot of problems. It's a multifaceted problem that has started from a long time ago.
So okay,
we covered up.
What's Doddsy say?
Doddsy, come on, son. You love Klopp still, don't you?
Let me shoot him. I'll shoot him.
I can't see anything wrong.
Dodds reckons we might still win the league.
Title charge is on.
Obviously, I've heard a lot of it. Yeah, listen. From last season to this season, we've still got some of the players. We've had injuries. Obviously, Let's give them that. But you can't. We've been unlucky. We haven't had the rub of the green, as they say. But I think there's something behind the scenes that's going on with the coaching staff. I think there's issues with Peps and Klopp, and there's some kind of problems there. And I think it's going to the players. Personally, that's what I think.
Yeah, it's more worrying that the staff. This has happened to the staff than any players or performance on the pitch to me, because we now are only out. Unfortunately, and I'm the biggest guy against these kind of takeovers, but like a rich takeover or something like that. Now our out is looking like that because of the changes we've made in the infrastructure in between. The Americans, okay, FSG, they're tight bastards, but I'm not going to say they're the worst evils in the world because they did make us.
They've taken us to this level.
Whatever they've done and the margins, the things that they forced us to do has made us be very shrewd and got decisions correct and won league, Champions League, etc. But now,
also what they've done is we've got what a state of the art training facility now.
Yeah,
it's up there with the best in the world.
New Anfield,
right? Anfield. They've redeveloped Anfield. And that new Anfield Road stand is going to go up next season as well. So they haven't not spent money. I'm not having that they haven't spent money. They have.
No, on the field. On the field, I agree. On the field, they haven't.
No, they haven't though. They haven't. In terms of the books, they haven't. We've made them money. We made them a lot of money.
Oh yeah, we've made the money, but they've spent money.
They spent money that they made from us.
Just not on the field, though.
Yeah,
they haven't spent it on the field.
They spent money that we made them. The valuation of Liverpool Football Club has tripled, quadrupled since they took it over, and that's testament to them.
But I know, but that's also because of the decisions they've made.
Of course,
hiring Klopp. Now, what I will say to Klopp is about Klopp. Listen, he was iconic. You know, he brought in some of these players came because of him.
The normal ones.
The Manes, the Salahs, who, by the way, no one wanted at that time when we signed Mane, Salah. No one was saying they were world class. No one was saying they were this, that, or they were going to go on to score the goals they've got to score. Yeah. Listen, all I want to say is before Yaz leaves us, for me, the biggest question I've got to say is this. See you later, Yaz. Cheers, mate.
See you later, boys.
See you later, Yaz.
So for me, the Community Shield, we played so well in that game. I mean, honestly, we played so well. in that game, I honestly thought we're going to be okay this season.
Mm.
And I don't know what happened after that game. I think the Community Shield is like a poison chalice. And if you win that, something happens to you.
It's mad because I feel like
what happened? What happened after that game to Fulham the next week? Remember the Fulham game away? I was like, no. And everyone, even all the pundits, have said, this is a one-off.
Yeah.
This is a one-off.
Thing is, you're going to get all these players back. This is the thing now. We're talking like this now. Klopp has that. You can't take it away from him. But come 2-3 weeks' time, when the likes of Diaz, the likes of Van Dijk, the likes of Jota are back.
But yeah, look,
a different story then.
Even though Yaz is very pedantic, he does make a good point that it doesn't matter. We should still be able to have some sort of results with these players.
The depth of the squad isn't good enough. That's the problem. The depth of the squad. We've had our injuries. 2 seasons that's happened now to us, and we haven't got the backup to support it.
I got to fly the babies awake.
All right. Well, look, let's leave it from this depressing cop talk that we've had. But it's been good seeing everyone, and let's just hope we can turn it around.
Yeah. All right. See you later, guys.